Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alex Bradley from Anything Geeky Reviewed, and today I'm going to be showing you Perpetuum, which is a mech kind of MMO that's just released on Steam. It's been out, I think, on their own website for some time in kind of like an alpha beta phase, but now it's launched on Steam, and it looks quite cool. I'm looking forward to playing it, so let's get straight into it. I'm a Steam user, so we'll log in via that and see what we can do. Thank you, the devs, for gifting me a copy of this to review, so shout out to them for being so nice. Let's have a European mail. There we go. I'm quite sure about the graphics, but it's you may. Oh, I think he's dead. Hold the mouse button down and you can make different eyes. Goodness God, his lips could certainly end up weird with. You could definitely end up making quite a weird fellow. Let's give him a little bit of a smile. Huh? Eyes, I think I'm gonna kind of leave it about there. Don't want it too girly. Yeah, looking a bit too girly now. Bridge, bring it down a bit. There we go. You can have them in different lights, make them look spooky. Maybe you are. Okay, and you can have different backgrounds. Two different backgrounds apparently. Clothing, again. Let's have a bit of red, shall we? I'll do like a bit of red. Female feature. or male feature. Okay. Let's try the accent female. Oh goodness. Okay. A bit of each. I think it's softened his features a little bit. Let's see what other hair he's got. I can't quite see the hair. Bold, long, curly. Not exactly the best haircuts, but a bit bold on that one. Not exactly much choice. I'm going to have to go with that one then. Do you have a beard? Come on. Come on, we're going to have a goatee. My infamous goatee. No goatee? That's disgraceful. Guess I'm going to have that then. Don't think there's anything else that quite matches. Okay. And the beard does need to be darkened a little. Maybe not quite that much. There we go, that's better. Same with the hair colour. Yeah, looks a bit better. Okay. Create the word for of your agent. The image you create now not play any significant role in the game. Its sole purpose is to create a unique appearance so that other agents will recognise you easily. Also, in the mechanised and human world of Perpetuum, we will need a grasp of our origin. Choose either one, 6 common presets by loading them on top, and move the slides to get your own look. Going arrow when you are done. There we go, and we'll call him Alexander 101. The usual tag. Name has already been taken. Typical. Now, good, let's try a sim. 1, 2. There we go. So this is a mechanised MMO. It's kind of like a sandbox game. It can determine server shutdown, server restart. Okay, typical. Goal of the program is make fiddle with Sync OS. The system we use to operate remote controlled nanobots thousands of light years away. Everything works just the way it will work once you're using the actual uplink to planet Neo and controlling everyone's spark. Remember though, this is just a training program. Everything you do or gather here will vanish once you decide to end your training. Everything except one thing, the actual experience and knowledge you will need to start your career. Okay, so looks like some kind of virtual training environment. Using the checklist. Select the task. And the next task on the list, UI basics. Oh, I really don't fancy going through all this crap. Yeah, okay. Items to be moved on to next. Client options. Okay. Help and support communication. Cool. Channels. So, what do we have here? General chat, German, Hungarian. Yeah. What do you want to do? Click on channels. You can leave channels by right clicking, open the chat window, and then general chat. Okay. There we go. So, that's the introduction, and now we've got the essentials. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run quickly through the essentials, and then I'm going to carry on recording after that and show you the basics of the game. I don't want to kind of bore you with the tutorial, so I'll see you in a few moments. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, carried on after the tutorial. As you can see, I've just pretty much finished everything. I'm just on the last task that I've got to do to basically leave the island. So I thought before I leave the island, I'll show you guys exactly what I've seen so far. I have to admit the tutorial is actually pretty good. It holds your hand through most of the basics of the game, even some of the complex stuff, and it's pretty good in most places, and it keeps you engaged with the game, which is exactly what you want from a tutorial. You don't want to get bored. So let's minimise that and let's get straight into the game, and I'll show you some combat, I think. Now, the one thing I've got to say about this game is it is very, very similar to Eve. I'm actually loving it because of that. It's used a lot of things that Eve has used. It's a bit complicated. I'm going to have to say that if you don't like the complexity of Eve, then you may not like this. There is a lot going on. There's a lot you can do. There's a lot of windows open at different points with a lot of information going for you. So if you're not one of those people that likes to kind of have to sit down and read sometimes, and you just want to get in with the action, then you may not enjoy this as much. But we'll see. We'll see what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to do any more videos to kind of make up your mind about this game. But so far I'm actually really enjoying it. So let's have a look. This is the kind of starting point for the tutorial. The graphics are pretty good. I think I've only got them on medium, so I'm not seeing the high detail of everything, but they're pretty nice. So let's head to one of the teleporters and go straight to the training ground, shall we? The combat training ground, I believe. Teleport, and we'll go to the shooting range. That's the one. So at the moment I've got to play with a couple of different mechs. You can activate them just like you do ships in Eve. Again, very similar. Each mech is from a different faction, so they have different weapons. You can double click on an enemy and lock onto them. Again, very similar to Eve. But let's see if we can get this bugger destroyed. There we go. You can just press space to fire all your weapons, and oh, there they did. Now, one of the things I do like about this is weapons have different abilities. So this guy's got some mag cannons or medium Gauss cannons on him. So they, as you can see, I've fired a couple of them, and they can't hit the target because the wall's in the way. So what we can do is we can use our rockets and go straight over the wall and still hit the bugger. It's a lovely idea that you can use kind of your weapons in different manners. It means that missiles can actually fire over targets. They can, I mean, that one just missed completely. Yeah, obviously they can miss. They can give you a bit of a tactical advantage. They don't have to have so much as a range. Their range is only limited by the missiles you're using, which is quite cool. So let's kill this enemy before we move on. But I think that's quite cool because it means you can carry kind of short range as well as long range missiles with you. Change mid-mission. I'll show you the reloading section, but again, if you've played Eve, you know it. You just right click, push reload, and it reloads with the same stuff you've already used. Let's fire some more missiles. Oh, almost got him. And yeah. So yeah, missiles are quite useful for this sort of thing, firing over things. And it may not be the most damaging kind of weapons, but again, you've got different advantages and disadvantages with different weapons. The lock-on times can be a bit annoying, but again, I presume in Eve, like in Eve, you can change that. So that's the kind of basics of combat. What I'm going to do is take you back and show you the mining and refining section of the game, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Can't wait to play some more and get to grips with the actual game after the training area is finished. As you can see, you've also got different weapons down the side down here, and you've got different stuff like armour repairers, you know, light chassis. You've got passive stuff. These two are passive because they don't have a bar down the side, and then this is a standard thermal armour, so I can activate that and it gives me a 100% buff to my, or 100 point buff to my thermal resistance. So yeah, it's very similar to Eve. You have an R or CPU usage on your mech, you also have the power usage. So for every active ability, it uses a certain amount of power. Sorry about the bird in the background, it's just my love bird. So yeah, it plays very similar to Eve. If I was blindfolded and played this, and I knew, or I didn't know who actually developed it, I would have a guess that it was CCC, because some of the things in this are just so similar. I mean, even the private storage here is just reminiscent of Eve. Yeah, let's swap into a mining robot so we can show you what that is like. There we go. And this is basically the terminal where you'll kind of manufacture things, you'll research stuff, you'll swap between different mechs, loadouts, weapons, you know, that sort of thing. So it's kind of the place to go whenever you need to kind of come out the kind of real, or the mech world so much. From what I've gathered of the story, you are actually on Earth, I think, and you're kind of controlling robots remotely via kind of some kind of weird satellite arrangement, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I think if from Earth you can controlling robots remotely, so you can have all sorts of different robots. One of the things I have noticed, as is described in the tutorial, is if you have mechs and you lose them, it looks like you lose them. Just like in Eve, when you lose a nice expensive ship, you do lose the whole thing. Looks like we've got syndicate protection just from teleporting in. That's interesting. Must just be from being nearby the teleporter. But yeah, so you kind of want to be careful with that. Now, I'll show you the mineral scanning. It's actually quite a cool system, I think, on this. You load different modules into your weapons or your scanners, and then you can use them. As you can see, we've got a little map down here, with a little arrow showing that there's some minerals on this field. You can kind of scan from the side, and it will give you a more accurate pinpoint location of where minerals are. But I know exactly where they are. They're going to be in the middle of this field. So we'll scan again as soon as it's reloaded, and we should be right in the middle. There we go, nice big red X. So once we've found the minerals, we'll have to swap from a directional scanner, which shows you roughly where the minerals are, to a tile-based scanner, which will show us exactly what minerals are here and where we can mine. So we'll wait for it to reload and change that over. It's quite cool the fact that it gives you a map, it shows you exactly where minerals are. Obviously, if you already know where minerals are, you can go straight there. Yeah, it's just, I mean, obviously you can wander around anywhere. There we go, we'll activate that. You can wander around anywhere you want in, because it's a sandbox open world game, and you can find minerals, which is quite cool. Now each one of these boxes, as you can see from this scan down here, the red boxes, or red areas here, are the really rich areas, and as you go out to the kind of darker colours, or the kind of more black and green, the weaker the minerals are. So at the moment, what we've got is Solbit in this area. So what we'll do is we'll lock onto this little piece of minerals, and we'll start mining it. So I'll show you, this is my kind of cargo area for my robot. This is Solbit, which is what we want. So we'll start mining that, and it gets a little laser out and starts mining my little minerals. It's a nice rich area. So 9 Solbit at the moment, should get 10 in a minute. Yeah, there we go. So that's basically how you mine. Different areas have different resources. You can refine those minerals into other minerals, or kind of more commodities that you could sell for a lot more, which is quite cool. So that's kind of the basics of mining. Let's quickly show you actually how you gather plants, because you can mine plants as well. You don't need a scanner for this, so it's a little bit easier, but I think the scanning is quite cool, quite fun. So we'll lock onto this plant. Again, locking on, very similar from Eve, just takes a certain amount of time to lock on, and there we go. And then we've got another tool on our little robot, which is a harvester, and we can just start harvesting little plants. These plants do die once you've harvested a certain amount, and as you can see, the Perpetuum is what we're mining. There we go, just went up to 2,500. So pretty straightforward. I'll tell you what, I'll head back to the base and we'll show you kind of the manufacturing process for things, and get a start on that. Okay, so we'll just head back to the base. actually quite looking forward to playing this after the training mode is finished. Just going to pass to between. Close to the, as you can tell, you're going to have a lot of fucking windows open in this game because there's a lot of information to go around. So if you're not into that sort of thing, I mean, if you're not really into that complexity, then you may not like this. There's a lot to kind of take in information wise. So when you get your resources back to base, you can basically refine them into different resources. So we were given some titanium earlier, some titanium ore, and I can do that right now, create 100, boom, there we go, refined. Now that's pretty much instant. The rest of it isn't necessarily. The cool thing about this is apparently you get research points from killing enemies. They gave us a load of points, so we got to use some to unlock a autocannon. Once you've unlocked weapons, to reproduce them, you actually need to kind of reverse engineer them after you've prototyped. So we created a prototype, and then again you kind of have to reverse engineer it using a decoder. Apparently the better quality of decoder you've got, then the less minerals you use when you reproduce or mass produce weapons. But it's a great way of actually making money, obviously, by selling them on the market. Again, you've got a huge market to play with. Give you a quick look at that actually. I think all this stuff is just kind of standardised because it's the tutorial, but you can kind of again set up contracts, very kind of Eve-like factories, where once you've produced your reproduced your prototype, you can then kind of craft it and mass produce the damn thing. It should make you tons of copies for a lot less than the actual prototype originally, and you can even recycle stuff. So we've got a standard autocannon there, and if we recycle it, we get some titanium back and some axicline by the looks of it. Again, really easy to do. Assignments, again, missions. So looks like you kind of get different assignments depending on where you are. This is a transport mission. Different missions go down, and the rows along are actually the difficulty. So the more rows of the missions, the harder they are as you select them. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to actually cover in this game, and it's not that easy to cover it. You can equip weapons, scanners. There is so much in this game, it's ridiculous. But it's also a really cool game. But there's a lot of information. You've got resistance stats for your robot. So you can buff that with kind of different active or passive bonuses, which is quite nice. Currently you've got that one activated. So yeah, that's kind of the basics. I don't think I'm going to show you everything. Agent profile, extensions. The one weird thing I did find about this is the way extensions work. I think extensions are the way you level up, basically. You gain experience. Well, that's the thing, I don't think you actually gain experience. You gain what they call EP, which is extension points. You gain that on a daily basis. For normal people, you'll gain, I think, something like 12 or 1300 EP per day. And then after that, you'll gain, I think that's up to 3 days. If you don't log in within the 3rd day, then they stop giving you that bonus per day. So that's how you, by the looks of it, that's how you actually gain experience points or extension points. I don't think there's any other way of doing it. Killing enemies doesn't seem to provide it, but this is kind of a similar system to Eve with the skill system from 1 to 10, but you don't have a time-based skill. So you just have, if you've got the EP, that you put the upgrade in, that's it, done. But by the looks of it, the time base is done per day. So you can only do, or you can only get so many extension points per day by logging in, or whatever. There might be other ways of getting it, but that seems to be the kind of the main way by the looks of it. Sparks, by the looks of it, are little kind of robots that inhabit the bigger robots you're using, and they provide kind of passive boosts depending on what you want to use at a time. Teleport different sparks to different locations. You've got transactions. Again, looks pretty much identical to the way Eve does things with the transaction system. Production, what you produced, insurance covers. I haven't actually looked at insurance, but I'm presuming it's probably the same as in Eve. You insure a mech, and if it does get destroyed, you get at least a portion of that cost back. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave that there. There's a lot more to this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the game, enjoy it a bit more, and maybe I'll come back later on with a review. Hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys around.